Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing today? Just like usual, I got some bad basketball news and some good basketball news, and then I got some basketball beer that I need to get in my belly. First, let's start with the bad news, because I want to end the video on a good note. The Warriors this season just can't catch a break. Like seriously. Injuries followed by COVID health protocols followed by more injuries. Just when the switch was about to turn on for the Dubs, James Wiseman suffers a knee injury and is practically done for the season? That must be a tough pill to swallow. But let's take a look at what it actually means for the Golden State Warriors this season. So like always, smash that like button, guys, subscribe if you're new, and let's get back to Warriors basketball. The Warriors are a great shooting team, but man, something tells me they should just avoid dunks from here on out. First Clay, then Wiseman. I love some dunk action, but not if it's going to take these star players out for months or years at a time. Man, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? That's me just ranting, of course, while sipping some of the best beer this world has to offer. But anyways, let's take a look at this James Wiseman injury and what the Warriors can do about this. Wiseman suffered a torn meniscus against the Houston Rockets on Saturday, April 10th, where although they got the dub, they lost their number 2 overall pick. It happened during a pick-and-roll action with Jordan Poole, where Wiseman went up for the dunk. He was blocked by Kenyon Martin Jr., son of Kenyon Martin, the number 1 draft pick in the year 2000, and as a result, he landed in an awkward position. The MRI scan showed that Wiseman tore his meniscus in his right knee. Now, I'm not a doctor by a long shot, but from what I read on Google, recovery times can be from a few weeks to a few months, and even up to a year, depending on the severity of the injury, and depending on if the individual wants to go through surgery or rehabilitation. James Wiseman is only 20, so it'll make sense for the Warriors organization to take a long-term approach to this injury, and that means he'll likely be out for the rest of the season, but should be available come training camp of the 2022 season. James Wiseman was averaging 11.5 points per game and grabbing about 6 boards at the same time. He was real efficient shooting from the floor at 52%, but from beyond the arc, he was at 31.5%. And whenever he was sent to the free throw line, his percentage was about 63%, so he wasn't exactly lighting it up this year. He has shown glimpses of brilliance this season, but more often than not, he was showing his inexperience of coming practically out of high school. Although I really enjoyed watching him play and believe he'll be a real good player in the league someday, his injury doesn't exactly ruin the Warriors' 2021 season. Let me show you all why, right here. As good as Wiseman will be someday, he hasn't exactly been a plus for the Warriors when he was on the hardwood floor. That's probably another reason why he isn't in the game during crucial periods. Statistically speaking, the Warriors are worse when Wiseman is on the court. If we want to be as specific as possible, per every 100 possessions, the Warriors are 12.3 points worse when the number 2 overall pick has been on the floor this season. Now, if we changed up that personnel and say, switched in Kevin Looney, the Warriors are statistically 6.2 points better than the opposition for every 100 possessions. To put things more into perspective, when Steph Curry and any 4 people take the floor, the offensive efficiency rate is at 120 points per 100 possessions. When you swap in Wiseman with any of the 4 players, that offensive efficiency drops to 103 points per 100 possessions. Now I know Wiseman started off the season real slow and started getting better just before his injury. But the fact is, this season at least, the Warriors are usually better when Wiseman is off the floor. Now losing Wiseman does put a strain on the team. Kevon Looney is now the only viable center, and at 6'9", even he's undersized at the center position. So something needs to be done here. The Warriors still have one more open roster spot available, and there are some centers they can pick up to fill the void. Thon Maker, Amir Johnson, former Warrior Jordan Bell, or recently waived Myers Leonard. The biggest name here I see that the Warriors should sign at the center position is Myers Leonard. Career-wise, he shoots 39% from beyond the arc, so he can definitely fill in that stretch 5 position. He's not much of a rim protector, however, he is 7 foot tall. All he has to do is get in the correct position and put his hands straight up to affect shots. If we did swap in Myers Leonard, the Warriors wouldn't really be any worse off. Myers can catch lobs, he can play low post, and he can shoot threes. If he can come in and play about 20 minutes a night and puts in about 8 points and 5 boards per game, that could be enough, and the Warriors really wouldn't miss any of the things that rookie Wiseman can do on the floor. The main thing for the Warriors, though, in addition to signing a center, is again to just get everyone to focus in, play hard, and play Warriors basketball. Their starting five has two players in Wiggins and Oubre who can and should easily both be putting up 20-plus points every night. And on top of that, the Warriors have arguably the best player in the league in Steph Curry, who can put up 30 to 40 points on any given night. That, my friends, can be an elite three-headed dragon that could pose problems for any teams in the league. On top of their offense, Wiggins and Oubre are also really good defensively and should both make strong cases to be in one of the two all-defensive teams this season. The Warriors bench is going to be just as important. They just signed Gary Payton II to a 10-day contract, and Jordan Poole continues to show Sixth Man of the Year talent. To be really honest, a lot of the bench is going to depend on Poole. When he has his game going, he's a real threat on the floor. He can do pick and rolls, he can shoot the three ball, he can drive to the rim, he has his mid-range floaters. The Warriors need to develop Poole here quickly, period. Steve Kerr and the rest of the coaching staff are going to have to figure out how this bench is going to operate. They have a lot of talent in JTA, Lee, Bazemore, and Mulder, in addition to newly acquired Gary Payton and then Jordan Poole. But the issue is, how can they consistently be effective? Honestly, here again, guys, every team always needs to get better talent-wise, but I feel like all throughout this season, a bigger issue with the Warriors is on the effort part. They're not completely locked in for 48 minutes per game, and if they were, they'd be a completely different team. I mean, JTA, Lee, Bazemore, and Mulder can all shoot about 40% or better from beyond the arc. They don't really have any strong one-on-one players, but small ball is about screens, backdoors, and constant movement that eliminates the need for iso ball. There's about 20 games left this season, and with one of the easiest schedules ahead of them, even with the James Wiseman injury, there's no reason why the Warriors can't go on a big string of wins. Like I said, Wiseman is really important to the future of the franchise, and as much as I'd love to see him finish off the season, losing him isn't like losing Steph Curry. It's not exactly a deal breaker this season, and in fact, if the statistical numbers are telling the truth, losing Wiseman this season would actually make the Warriors better. There's still a real high chance the Warriors could slip into the 7th or 8th seed, and a slight sliver of a chance they can catch Portland and slip into the 6th seed. But to be honest, I'd rather the Warriors stay at the 7th or 8th seed. Although the Utah Jazz and Phoenix Suns hold the top 1st and 2nd seed in the West, I see them as an easier opponent to beat than the Lakers, Nuggets, or Clippers. Against both the Jazz and the Suns, the Warriors are going to have the best player on the floor in Steph Curry, and I can honestly see them winning against either of the two if Wiggins and Oubre learn how to play well on the same night. If the Nuggets go up against the Clippers this postseason, man, I see the Nuggets winning and Paul George hitting the side of the backboard again. If the Nuggets can beat the Clippers for a second straight year in a row, could Kawhi be heading to Golden State? Dang, that's an exciting prospect, which I'll do for another video. Let me check my calendar here real quick. Oh my gosh, it's the 12th of April already, and the play-in tournament starts in a little over a month, followed by the 2021 playoffs? I am officially getting stoked here, people. Tonight, the Dubs face the Denver Nuggets, so I'll be locked into that game for sure. The game doesn't start for another hour or so. So, in the meantime, I guess I'm gonna pop another delicious, ice-cold, refreshing can of beer.